Hi, y'all. Welcome back. The winner for our free giveaway is Enyonam Latte. Congratulations, girl. You have a one-on-one session with me. I also want to take the time to say a big thank you to everyone that participated and watched the video. So today I'm going to talk about blend mode. So if you are ready, let's jump right into this. The blending mode allows you to add a smoke effect, turn your dull image to a more richer image, and change the mood of your background to something like this. Even add a logo and backlit your logo. So if you did not know, there are 27 different blend modes, which have been categorized into 6 different sections. Now you find all the blend modes under the layers panel. When you click on normal, you see that it's been grouped in 6. You have the normal, the darken, lighten, overlay. We have the inversion, and then we have components. So today I'm going to show you the 4 key blend modes that you'll be using on a regular basis, and I'm going to throw in a bonus and talk just a little bit about the color blend mode. So let's start with blend mode multiply. And just know that I'm going to have a link to all the images I used in this tutorial so you can download and follow along. So the first thing we are going to do, I'm going to bring in another image. Right click on this image and I'm going to open it in Photoshop. So to test multiply, first of all, I'm going to unlock this and I'm going to create a gradient effect. So I'm going to click on the plus icon to generate a new layer, and I'm going to take my gradient tool. You want to make sure that your gradient is solid. So you make sure the opacity is at 100 and also it's on black and white for your color. And I'm just going to hold down my shift and I'm going to draw a straight line and I'm going to release. So this is what you do. If you change the blend mode of this layer to multiply, you see that image has changed. So basically, whenever you're using the blend mode and you apply a gradient, know that the black area becomes more darker where the gradient color black has been affected. And then the white area, basically, it becomes transparent. Let me show you another trick. I'm going to delete this one and I'm going to add another layer and we are going to do another gradient effect, but this time I'm going to choose radar. I'm going to point from the center and I'm going to stretch to one end. And as you can see, the darker section is in the middle. If I apply multiply mode, it means that the center of my image is going to be darker and the outside is going to be lighter. But I want to do the reverse. So I'm going to press Ctrl Z to go back. And before I apply, I'm going to click on reverse. It's going to reverse the gradient for me. So if I do the same thing, you see that this time the white is in the middle and the black is around the border. So if I change the blend mode, you see that it gives me a vignette. Even if I feel that it's too dark, I can actually decrease the opacity. So the next blend mode that we are going to talk about is called screen. Now, screen is basically the opposite of multiply. So I'm going to demonstrate for you to see. I'm going to delete this and I'm going to add a new layer and I'm going to pick my gradient tool and I'm going to draw a line. So as you can see, the dark part is on the bottom and the white is on the top. Now notice what happens if I switch it to screen. So the black portion, which was darker in multiply, is now transparent and The white part, which was transparent in multiply, is actually opaque in screen. So that is what we mean by the screen being the opposite of multiply. So you get the opposite effect of what you will see in the multiply blend mode. The other thing that you can do with screen is that you can actually get rid of any black background. And I'm going to demonstrate that in two ways. So I'm going to click this off. And I'm going to bring in a logo. I'm going to go to my working file and I'm going to drag in this logo. I'm going to release it right there. Now, notice what happens when I change the blend mode to screen. You see that I lose the background basically. So you can see that with just a click away, you get rid of the background. Now I know that we have a little bit of a white line around it, and it's because we brought in a background. So it might have been that there was a little bit of white around the black background. So that's why you have that. And you can use the eraser tool to quickly just get rid of that. If you minimize your eraser tool, you can just quickly erase that and just get rid of that. But you get the point and you get what I'm trying to convey. So I'm just going to rescale this and set it right here. Just a little reminder that we need to keep recycling. So I want to show you another trick that you can use when using the multiply blend mode. Let's say that you want to bring in, let's say, a bird or an aeroplane in your sky. So you want to make sure that you have an image where your background is almost white or gray and the airplane or the bird you're bringing in is black. So like this image, if I right click and bring it into Photoshop, you see that this effect acts similar to the gradient effect because we basically have a black and grayish close to white. So if we apply the multiply blend mode, the white should basically what? Disappear. So let's try it and see if it works. So I'm going to cut out this using my lasso tool. And with my move tool, I'm going to drag this into our landscape. And I'm going to just rescale it. So now we have a bird in the sky, the aeroplane. So I'm going to change the blend mode to multiply. And notice that the white didn't go away completely because the background still had some gray tint to it. So to get rid of the gray and only allow the airplane to be seen is to add a levels adjustment. So I'm going to click and add a levels adjustment. And what you want to do, since we want this adjustment to be only applied to the layer beneath, you hold down your Alt and then you just clip between the two lines, and every change you make will only be applied to the layer beneath. And now we are going to move our slider to the left. And as you can see, the background totally disappears and you have just the airplane. So this is the cool trick about using blend modes. Just as a recap, the blend mode multiply is the opposite of screen. So for multiply, everything that is black shows up and everything that is white becomes transparent. For multiply, for screen, everything that is black becomes transparent and everything that is white actually shows. Let's say you have a beam of light that you want to add in your design. So to demonstrate that, I'm going to bring in another image. I'm going to right click, and this time I'm just going to drag it and drop it into our Photoshop file. and I'm going to rescale it. So let's say that we want to show like a beam, a spot of light somewhere here. So we are going to click on our layer, and we are this time going to use the screen mode. So if I double click, you see that everything around it just disappears and you only see the light. So if you want, you can use your eraser tool and you can just erase around the outline so it doesn't show. Or I'm going to do control. I'm going to go back, and then we are going to apply an adjustment level. I'm going to hold down my Alt and I'm going to clip it to the layer beneath. Now this time, instead of moving our slider from right to left, we're going to move it from the left to the right, and notice how the outline just disappears and and the light is the only thing that shines through. So this is another way that you can use the blend mode, adding some adjustment levels to achieve the look that you want. So I'm just going to rescale this. I like how it looks. And I'm going to move my recycling and set it somewhere here, just like that. So I really like the effect that we've created so far with multiply and screen. So another technique that I want to show you using the screen is, let's say you have smoke and you want to apply it to an image. I'm going to show you how that works. So we're going to open a new folder, a new file. I'm going to open this. And then let's say that we have this image and we want to portray that smoke is coming from somewhere inside the room. We can bring in an image which depicts smoke, and I'm going to scale this up a little bit, and I'm going to rotate and do something like that. So it's as though the smoke is coming through here. And I'm going to scale it down a little like that. And now what I'm going to do, I'm going to take this blend mode and I'm going to change it to screen. And I'm going to deselect. So as you can see, it gives you the illusion that a smoke is coming from this room. And we can also, just using our layers, our levels adjustment, I can basically take this down. I can use my eraser to clean up a little bit so we get a more realistic effect. So moving along, we want to talk about the next blend mode, which is soft light. Now, soft light works similar to the blend mode multiply, but the only difference is dark. Not only is the dark areas more pronounced, the white areas are also pronounced in terms of they are lighter, and then the midpoint where the black and the white meet is where you have the transparent effect. So I'm going to demonstrate that for you to see. I'm going to bring in another image. So I'm going to open a new file. If I add a new layer and I click on my gradient tool, we have the black and white gradient. So I'm going to hold down my shift and I'm going to draw a straight line. So we do have, I'm going to reverse. So we have the top being the darker. Okay, so we have this layer. If I take that layer and I change it to soft light, you see that the top portion, which had the black, is more darker, and the bottom section, which had the white, is more lighter. But what do you notice? The middle has nothing. So if I click this off, you see that the middle still remains the same. The only difference is that the top, which was lighter, is more darker, and the bottom, which was a little bit more darker, is more lighter. And the next one is what we call overlay. Now, overlay is a more pronounced version of soft light. So if I change this blend mode from soft light to overlay, the effect is more pronounced than what you saw in soft light. The other thing I want to show you that you can do with overlay is that you can actually add a little bit of brightness, or you can lighten up your image in other ways. So let's say if I turn this off, I'm going to unlock my layer and I'm going to just crop it down just a little so we don't see the reflection. I'm going to zoom in. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to add a new layer. I'm going to change the blend mode to overlay. And I'm going to use any color of choice. I'm choosing sort of a reddish color. I'm picking my brush. And I'm just going to gently brush over the background. And as you can see, it's just given a different mood to the image. And notice if I feel it's too strong, I can take this down. So let's say that I want to bring in a logo and I want to almost backlit my logo. I'm going to bring in this logo that we've used already, and I'm going to use it as an example. Or I'm going to move it up here and set it right there. I'm going to double click to deselect. And let's say that I want to have a sort of a bluish glow behind my logo, almost like it's backlit. So I'm going to add a new layer, and you want to make sure the layer is beneath the logo layer that you want to lit up. And we're going to change the blend mode to screen. And then I'm going to change my color. I'm going to pick a more like a bluish color like that. And then with my brush, I'm going to just paint around my logo. So you begin to see almost like a little bit of a glow effect. If it's too much, you can just reduce the opacity. So you see the effect, but it's not empowering. If I turn it off, we don't have it, but if I turn it off, it's flat, but when I turn it on, it gives it some depth. So that is another way that you can use your screen. I know I'm sort of showing you different techniques between, different things, but that is different ways that you can use your blend mode options. So the last thing that I promised to share with you is how to use the hue. So I'm going to open this file in Photoshop. And let's say that you want to make this grass a little bit more greener in terms of the lightness of it instead of a deeper green. Let's say we want to take it up. We want to make it a little bit more lighter. So what you do is you add a new layer, and then we want to change the blend mode to color, and we want to change the color that we are going to paint over to, let's say, this green. I'm picking my brush and I'm going to just paint over. And as I paint, you see that it drastically changes the color of the grass, and it's so different. And even if I do this too, so you can see that you can just drastically change the color of your tree. And we can do the same thing for our sky. So let's say that I want a more deeper, rich sky. I can do the same thing. I can just apply that. And you see that quickly I can transform my dull sky to a more exciting, bluish, cloudy sky. And this is just playing with either the color blend mode or even hue. It gives you a similar effect, but it's a bit more different. But you can see what the color does. So let's say that I want my barn, the red, to show a little bit more. I can choose a deeper red, similar color, and then I'm going to reduce my brush head and I'm just going to paint. And as I paint, you see that it comes to life. If I reduce my opacity, it shows, but it's more on the muted side. So this basically helps you to bring up some more richness in your colors if you want to, or even if you want to change the color in its entirety, you can do that. So if I apply like a blue to this, you see that it changes the color. So that is basically the color blend mode. So I can either change this barn color completely or actually enhance the color that it already is. You can quickly enhance the color in your image, or you can totally change the color. So that is it. I'm just going to go back because I like the red effect. So that basically is all you need to know about blend mode. And like I said, these are basic blend mode options. You can explore the other ones, but these 4 or 5 are the main ones that you will typically use in your design. I hope you found this tutorial very helpful. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Don't forget to turn on the notification bell for all future uploads. And as always, thanks for watching. See you next time, and also be on the lookout for the next free giveaway. Bye for now.